How y'all doing? It's your boy Astro. But just give me a second. I'll be right back after these messages. We'll be right back.
Here we go again with another one.
Y'all sure y'all won't? Okay, fine. I don't know why y'all think I can work magic. Whoa! Where did you just come from?
Well, if you would listen, no one would have to show up.
I can't. I don't know what else to do. We gonna have to have a libation. I mean...
Girl, this is the one I was talking about that had that boyfriend that used her toothbrush. Yeah, she would have knew that had she looked at his chart.
You don't have to say all that. This girl.
Haven't we already told you to sign up for the Astro Einstein School of Astrology? We send you signs and tarot cards. We give you angel numbers. We've even turned out your lights. And you still don't get it.
I know you saw when I had to take Little McStuffins in for that hairball issue. Painful. She even got an offering for me. Let me just take a whiff of it. What is that floating in this thing? Lord.
Get to know yourself through the world of astrology. It's really just that simple.
Whew. I gotta do some more shamalama ding dong, huh?
Go to astro-einstein.com. Child, get your libations. Let's go. If I have to tell this one another time to enroll in the School of Astrology, it's about to be on and popping.
I've got it. Best decision ever.
What's going on, everybody? How you doing? How you doing? I'll be having a wonderful night. Wonderful day. Just think it's daytime where you are. Now, I don't want you guys to think I'm out here just picking on black leaders or spiritual black leaders out of here. But it is so amazing how the next black or one of 100 most influential black person happens also to be on that list that I'm going to be doing tonight. And just like you look on the screen, you see the name Malichai Z York, also known as Dwight York, born Dwight York. And it is not with my pleasure to do this tonight. Because I want nobody to think that I'm out here trying to destroy the reputation of other spiritual leaders out here. Because that's not my intent. I didn't even know it's going to lead to this path, and it's all linked. I'm going to share with you how it's linked. For those who think that I am purposely doing, I'm not. I guarantee you. But if you don't believe what I say, then because I ain't got shit to lie about. And I ain't got you to study, but I got you to study because you're a public figure. Well, Malichai York was is a well-known, still alive, I think, a well-known spiritual leader. Well, what kind of spiritual leader was he? I just want to give you a understanding what a man is and how he looks. Okay, so this is him. This is also him. And this is also him. Y'all gotta get the joke after I'm done. Okay? After then you understand why I'm laughing. So my friend Malichai York was born Dwight York in Boston, Massachusetts. He was born June 25th, 1945. With a rectification of his time of birth based upon somebody else's time, Malichai York, or Dr. Malichai York, as respectfully being called, was born a Scorpio rising. You remember the under theme of the Scorpio energy we talked about? Right. Well, he had Scorpio themes in his chart. But I want to give you a little basis of the man's history of what, you know. So at first, he was a Muslim. You remember this? And then, so even from being Muslim to being a Native American to being a Moor to being extraterrestrial. Oh, I gotta take a sip of my. I gotta take a sip of my drink. Okay. All right. I just had to laugh. Sorry, y'all. All right. So, Dr. Malichai York wrote over 30 books. To this day, some of us in the spiritual community should read his books, for they are still filled with information. Some people read his books. Some people, don't even know who he is. But either way, he was one of the most influential Black human beings, and this was for a different reason. We can break the reason down. While as I eat my sandwich, y'all forgive me, please. So he borrowed from many different religions all the teachings. He was like, hmm, this looks like Christianity. Hold on. Hmm, Judaism. Come here. And Muslim. Come here. Come here. Mormons. Oh, come here. Got some of this Mormon right here too. New Age. Extraterrestrial. Come here. Let me shake it up. Okay. I'm sorry. But the dude combined every religion ever. If it's anything, because it said that if it's being God, he sure tried his best. He tried his best to combine the world. However, as you know, with most African, you know, the poor religions or following, the white man was devil, black man is God. That was his ultimate belief. So it goes deep, y'all. Y'all thought that the other two was deep. Mm-mm. We ain't even just a subject. Y'all gonna be like, who the hell is this man? Okay. At the end of it all, we don't even know who this man is because he went by a lot of names. And I'm gonna call these names off for you before we get into this chart. He was known as Dr. York, Malichai Z York, Dr. Malichai Z York L, His Excellency, Dr. Malichai Kobina York with an E, Imperial Grand Potente Noble Reverend Dr. Malichai Z York, Consul General Dr. Malichai Z York, Grand Al Mufti Divine Noble Reverend Dr. Malichai Z York L. Jimenez as Saeed Al Imam Isa Al Hadai I Mahdi. And then as Saeed El Imam Isa El Hay Al El Imadi. And then other names like it was just so much, y'all. It's just a lot. The man didn't even know what to call himself. The man didn't know what to call himself. Could you imagine waking up every day to your partner and you don't know who he is today? Could you imagine the wife of this man saying, "Baby, who are you today?" I am El Jefe Saidi Mal, His Excellency Dr. Cornelius Alfonso. If that ain't delusional, I don't know what is. Okay. Sorry, y'all. It gets really, really deep. I ain't even touched the surface yet, y'all. This is the atrocity that this man um, did whilst, you know, not incarcerated. is very, very, heart wrenching. I want to give you the forewarning, of what the stuff that he did. If you did not know, then you'll know in a minute all of his crimes that he ended up doing. Okay, he got charged with 30 counts. Sorry. Over 200 counts of child molestation. Drops mic. So, in the community that he was in first, he, you know, he would lure people in and, you know, said he's counseling children. Little that the parents know that this man was molesting these children, 30 children altogether. Before that's even, I'm skipping back and forth because I want you to understand the fullness of this chart that we are going to look at. Okay? I need y'all to get the understanding of it fully. So I'm trying to be as back and forth, you know, with so this man actually was very, very good at music. He had his own studio. Okay, he had his own studio, and that's important. I want you to hold on to that thought. That's very important. He had a studio, and from him having a studio, he had children. One of his his son, who defected from the religion or whatever the community, the sovereign nation they call themselves, and dismissed his father, all that stuff. He is actually one of the most well-known managers of musicians in the black community. His name is Jacob York. That's right. Jacob York. That's right. Jacob York was famous for managing Akon, TLC, Left Eye, Black, Gangsta Boo, Lil Kim, Dipset, and to some degree, for a short period of time, also Notorious B.I.G. That's his son. Now, I want you to hold on to that because that's just a small portion. So the man went from being Indian, Native American, to being a Moor, to being a Muslim, to being a Christian. He put them all together. He also, started to say that he flew in on a ship. The ship name was the Merkaba, also known as Nibiru. He was from the planet Riz. Sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. That is just so funny. The man was on planet Riz. That nigga had more Riz because oh my God, he was able to amass 600 followers within the month's time. And what he did was he had his followers he targeted were very poor. They didn't have much money. And he'd have them to sell incense and little stuff like paraphernalias and pamphlets saying that said the black man is king, the white man is devil. Okay, okay, and he made a small fortune from doing that. He brought that money. They went out basically as workers, selling these paraphernalia for the community that they were in, which is his community. So they took the money and went and bought a big piece of property in Georgia, middle of Georgia. Okay, and I'm talking about they thought it was like, even though it was acres, they were close to a very well knitted Georgia, community that was filled with whites. That's right, parts of whites. All right, and they happened to just move in and created all sorts of pyramids, like they were from Egypt. As a matter of fact, this is how the pyramids looked. This is, as you can see, that is how the pyramids looked in that yard. Okay, okay. This man, like I said, was from Planet Riz. Y'all, look at this man. This man, this man had more Riz. This dude was like, yeah, I'm from the Planet Riz. I'm so rizzed up. I'm from the Planet Riz. Hmm. Funny. So while he was, you know, moving and creating a pyramid, and I know what y'all thinking. Y'all thinking that the pyramid was a place of worship. Y'all, y'all thought that that place was a place of worship. I know you saw it. You saw people's hands in the air like they're praying. Like it's a place of worship. Y'all would not believe what was in that pyramid. In that pyramid was a nightclub. Was a whole nightclub, y'all. I, I was thinking, there's a place of worship. You go see some altars. That place was a club, y'all. Dude was dude was been in a club. So anyway, because of their diplomatic status of not being connected to the United States government and that they were their own sovereign nation, they had the ability. He had the ability to hire, those people who were part of that group to start guard with arms because that was their right, is to carry arms, to hold arms, and that's in Georgia. Okay. Now, the sheriff of that community was not really happy for these people. As a matter of fact, he went on camera and said that these people are spraining my neck. Okay, that's right. Now, this is where it gets twisted. It gets twisted because in the middle of the night, these um these people from this community, all right, these people from this community were bringing in children, teenagers, into the hospitals late at night. Okay, having them to born children, born these kids, and they're shipped off in the middle of the night back after the moment that the children, that the teenagers had babies. The the group of from this community that Dr. Malichai York created would just swoop the people, the teenagers out of the hospital with the umbilical cords, with the baby out. So nobody really knows in the community, because this is a white community, y'all. This ain't no black. They moved their black asses to the most whitest part of Georgia. How you want to go inside a community of white people and have up pamphlets that says the white man is the devil? The same people who live there. That man was either mentally insane or a genius. Right? That's all I can say. Because I don't know who would do some shit like that. Okay. Moving on to the story. So remember the son I told you about who defected? Well, there was a dispute between him and his father. He wanted to have the studio and be in charge of managing certain people. So the studio was, you know, it did well. Okay. But the son wanted more. The son wanted more. I'll show you a picture, son. So you can understand what we talking about. Let me get this picture in here. So this is the son. That's right. Jacob York. That's how he looks with glasses and when he grows out his beard. So the son went in and did an interview and said that I left the community because my dad is a scammer. He fake it. One day I woke up, him and my mama was arguing, and I asked him, and I started to talk to him, and asked him, why is he doing it? He said he don't even believe the things that he's tell these people, but he got to do it so that he could survive. That's the conversation that the son said about what the father said. Said he defected because he really and he was upset that his group of followers were mystifying him and turning him into a god. Really upset about it. I mean, I think I'd be that way too. If I know that the same man that you're calling God, I know when my mama hangs up his underwear, there's a streak of browniness in the back. I know that in the morning, his breath don't smell nothing like godliness. Then I am not going to believe anything that he says about him being a God. So, no, he wasn't having it. And he went an interview talking about children and how his father is a pedophile. How his father and he wants to protect the children that he know was being sexually abused. Okay? And that started an investigation between that and the children or the teenagers going in and having babies and being yucked out, even if they had like a health issue in the night, if they were bruised up. And what they said was that some of these girls' vaginas was beat up so bad, so terrible that it made a concern, and the nurses and the doctors went to the authority, which is the same sheriff of the town, that said there was a in his there was a sprain, they are spraining his neck, and that gave him the authority. He went to the authorities and said that these people are, you know. So it took them a while, but they went, got their letter for to search. Okay, the warrant, when they went in, and they thought that they went into the pyramids, they thought they was going to see some, some hieroglyphics, and all they saw was a DJ booth with flashing lights in the pyramid. Oh, but that wasn't all that they found. They also found in the living areas, was 30 children being housed, like they were being groomed for sex. You know, they were saying that his wife was also, you know, it was like if she was grooming these children. And so were some of the people, some of the followers donated their children sexually to this man. Yes, this disclaimer, allegedly. Thank you very much, Keisha. Is so much, y'all. Remember now, this is the and Ansaru Allah community. Okay. And the women were doing this because, they were a little indoctrinated. The women of the Ansaru Allah community focus on memorizing history as their iman sees it, learning Arabic, and many of them were quite fluent in Arabic, you know, like memorizing the Quran, and like as if they were Sudanians or Sudanese, and they marked their etiquette and their mannerism, and you know they participated in the compilation of various texts produced by the community. So the women were very, very intelligent. However, most of the women's main source of income came from the U.S. government, public assistance, and monies earned by men in various enterprises such as food shops and jewelry, merchandise stores, and street vending. See, that's another note about it. In that club were other rooms, like what they do, the rooms they have. Okay. Okay. So nobody really knows if those are the only things that he made money from. All right. So I just want to give you all. So when we look at this chart, we're going to dissect this straight through. Okay. Now he was very, very much influential. His production company, had a few, old songs back in the day, like "Only a Dream." If you guys are, you know, familiar with that kind of music, also, doing songs with Patti LaBelle. Okay. Now, just like the amount of names he had, was the amount of varieties of names and functions that his group had. And I want to name some of these. So they were called the Holy Tabernacle Ministries. Let's get this. The Egyptian Church of Karast, Holy Seed Baptist Synagogue, Ancient mystic order of Melchizedek. Ancient Egyptian order. All eyes on Egypt. The united Nubian nation of Moors. The Yami, yes, sir, the Yamasi Native American tribe. The Washita tribe. The large 19 of the ancient and the mystic order of Melchizedek. As you can see, everything changes with this man. He had all these different, communities, different places, and he went from back and forth. Well, he was he was sentenced to 130 years in prison. Now, take in mind, I remember I told you that his wife was a part. She was also sentenced, but she wasn't sentenced for so long. She was only sentenced to 2 years and also only 18 months of probation. But he got all those stuff. Now, when you look at the man's face, you're thinking, I don't know. This is how he looks in jail right now. But this is him from the planet Riz. This is him leading his trip of man, as you can see. An older picture, but this is the kind of wardrobe he wore. You see, because he also told his followers that a ship in 2000 was coming to take all of them from the earth, so that the white man and the white devil can have their earth. He predicted it and said it's coming. So 6 months passed and the date, nothing happened. So he said, I got the dates wrong. I got the dates wrong, guys. It's coming in 2003. He's like, yeah, don't worry. It's coming in 2003. I just had the dates wrong. All right. And it so happened that 2002 raid that I talked about, where they discovered, all these other stuff, came in 2002. So I guess, you know, he missed he missed his flight. He missed his flight because he was locked up in jail. So the world will never know. Okay? Will never know. There was also in that same country, in that same community, there were, because the people there were afraid of the Moors. They'd wake up and find the dead carcass of a dog, everything gutted out, and a dog just sitting on their yard. And they would the Nubians, all right, the Nubians were considered crazy. So there was a reporter that came into the country and was like, "What about those Nubians?" It was like, "Don't you talk about those people? You hear me? You hear me? Just don't you talk about them, because we gon' those are witches and they do all sorts of stuff." Okay, and that's what was happening. All right, and the Nubians made their way into different parts of society. All right, they became judges. There's prison guards. They were in the judicial system. They were everywhere. They were on the police force. Okay, and guess what? They were so influential that they tried to, you know, try to get him freed. If they could have get him out of there, they would have in any way, any junction. They filed all kind of junctions against the community so that they can free Melchizedek, Doctor, His Excellency, which one I should say, His Excellency Doctor Mal, Malichai Z, right? So, all right. So that's just pure point blank. And I want to look at his chart because I think he's still serving us stuff. I'm gonna look at his chart. Y'all gonna look at his chart too and see all that stuff that we just talked about. And we're gonna dissect it together. All right. So pulling up his chart. Sorry, y'all. It's smoke season down this way. So as you can see, he is a Scorpio rising. Remember we talked about the energy of Scorpio being all or nothing? About that energy of occult or cult, they would call. Because they considered what he was a cult. And the man would say, "What do you mean cult? You mean culture?" You know what I mean? And he just had them really, really brainwashed. But the ascendant in Scorpio at the first degree was very much something that I know to be true based upon the fact that the one represents the leader, Scorpio representing hidden things, or what you would consider occult or cult. All right. So his ascendant is at 20 at first degree. He was born June 25th, 1945, 3:14 p.m. at Boston, Massachusetts. Now, he goes on record to say that he was born in Sudan, also in New York, also in New Jersey. So, like not only does his name change and the organization change, but the place he was born seemed to always change too. And I could see why. Because when you look at the fourth house of home, the dude has Aquarius on it. He's a Scorpio rising, means Aquarius is sitting on the fourth house of home. And Aquarius rules change. Sudden changes, revolutionary. It just, that's what it does. Now, okay, Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. And his Uranus is in the eighth house in Gemini, which means, this the house here is also influenced by Gemini. And I would say all kinds of different changes, like when it comes to the home, when it comes to sense of security, and when it comes to like his name, his foundation. That's the reason why that Aquarius sitting on the fourth house of of home, of roots and culture and all that other stuff. That's why he changed so much. But going back to the ascendant, now there's always a saying when the first house ruler is sitting in the 10th house, that's instant fame. That's instant. You are going to be known. That's famous. We talked about it on the live, and we did this before about what are the fame attributes. And when, as you can see, he has Scorpio sitting on his first house. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, and his Pluto is actually conjunct his MC exactly. So that means that he was born to be famous and to be well known. Okay, the reason why is because if you look at it, his Pluto is sitting in Leo. Leo is ruled by the sun. All right, that represents leadership, inspiration, a leader, a king, a, and the ultimate name connected to like king is God. And that's where Pluto comes into play. Pluto wants to be at the top or God at something. Now, his Leo is ruled by the sun, and the sun is in Cancer, which represents home, tradition. But as you can see, It's in the ninth house of philosophy, spirituality, religion, foreign places, foreign cultures. What I've noticed about this placement here is that most people who have their sun in the ninth house end up moving from the country that they were born in. In this instance, he created a whole country and disassociated it with the United States of America. That's why this placement right here. Okay. So with the Scorpio rising, the ruler being in a conjunct the MC in the 10th house, he was destined to be this person that would, end up being a leader. Now, there are things that come with the sign Scorpio. And one of those things is it brings change, sudden ones. And because this Pluto is conjunct this MC, and Pluto sometimes, majority of the time, especially Sun and Scorpio or in the 10th house or in the MC, would bring about scandal. If you got Pluto in your 10th house, or if you have Scorpio in your 10th house, there's going to be a scandal that goes public for you. I just want you to know. That's my observation. Now, this man, like I said, as if he wasn't even from Earth. You know, again, that is due to the fact there's Aquarius on the fourth house. He feels that his roots and culture is alien in nature. Somebody different. Aquarius rules aliens. It rules alienated. It rules eccentric, different, and unique. So he felt as if he was from a different home than this planet. Okay. I didn't even finish to tell you all about the story because the Riz part had me, but there's quite a lot more when it comes to, his who he is and where he was born. How did he end up in prison? Okay, so let me explain this to you. It might have been a while, but it happened. When the ruler of the 12th house is sitting in the 10th house, that's a clear indication that this person would be in prison. However, when the ruler of the 12th house is conjunct the ruler of the first house, that's a telltale sign of prison, especially the fact that that planet is Pluto and Juno, because in my school I teach that Juno is the real true ruler of Libra. And Libra is on his 12th house. Okay. So yeah. Now, as it pertains to his fifth house and child molestation and being a pedophile, wanting to have sex with children, is literally sitting in the chart there for you guys. I'm going to explain this to you now. So the eighth house rules sex, death, and regeneration. That's what it does. It rules that in nature. Gemini rules early childhood education. It's also a representation of a certain phase inside one's life that's between primary school to high school. That's right. But we're going to go even a little further than that. Because Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is in the sign of Cancer, which represents nostalgic, when you go back into the past. So this man probably had some real deep, dark thoughts about childhood and being touched or molested, according to this chart. Now, I talked about two of the murders that took place that were definitely Nubian um, murders. One was from a man who killed, how should I put this? He shot and killed the mother of his daughter, who was also his daughter. I know. The man had a child with his daughter and killed his daughter. But that wasn't the guy. That wasn't the same man we're talking about. It's it's related to the fact that those children that were being molested and the people who were connected to this community were taking, that same guy was in the leadership role in um, Malichai York um, community. That's right. So they all start off with this: "I'm special, so are you." Then it's "I'm special more than you," and then it's "I am the only special. I am God, and you are beneath me, and you should worship me." They all start off like that. Even with, as we looked at Nature Boy's chart, he was also a Scorpio rising. Also a Scorpio rising. Now, again, the fifth house had Pisces on it, and Pisces is ruled, it rules, delusionment, past lives. It represents spirituality, intuition. But on the fifth house of romantic relationships, if that planet is, of romantic experiences and children, and Neptune is sitting in the 12th house and is sitting in Libra, this man also saw these teenage girls and these little young girls as past life wives. As a matter of fact, when they raided the place, he had little small white dresses as if they were all in a marriage. This is correct. And you could see it in the chart, pointing out to you, because the fifth house rules children. It also rules romantic relationships. That's crazy. That is like that, right? So the fifth house is Pisces there. Pisces really doesn't like boundaries. It goes and is ruled by Neptune. His Neptune is in the 12th house ruling past lives, and then it's in the sign of Libra that rules like marriage, partnerships, and Libra is ruled by Juno, and Juno is in Leo. Leo is ruled by the sun, and the sun is in Cancer, which rules, family, what have you. But that's what he felt. He felt as if these were his past life wives, and he married them. You see, notice that his moon is sitting in Capricorn in the third house. So he was very versed in knowing stuff, especially about history, ancient of times, and all these other stuff. He was really knowledgeable. Okay, really, really knowledgeable. But with this placement, this could lead to somebody feeling as if they are, you know, connected to their past lives, especially when it comes to partners. And there's a strong possibility. And I know it sounds crazy, but I believe in the fact that in this universe, where we're not sure of anything completely, that there is a possibility of everything. Now, also another theme that you'd notice about them attracting large groups of people is when Jupiter, the planet of expansion, is in the 11th house, as we looked at again. We looked at whose chart was it again? the other guy. He had Jupiter in the 11th house, and we looked at another person who had Jupiter in the 11th house. But either which way, when this placement, this means that they can attract many persons in groups. And because Jupiter is sitting in Virgo in his 11th house, he employed a lot of people to go out there and sell the pamphlets and, their incenses and spiritual paraphernalia. So his friends became his co-workers as well, based upon that placement. With the moon sitting in the third house, especially in Capricorn, the moon is not comfortable in Capricorn. It's actually a detriment. It doesn't like being in that placement. As you know, as you've seen with the other three, their moon was either in Scorpio or Capricorn. All right. Or sitting in the 8th house or sitting in the 10th house. And that's because those placements makes the moon corrupt. The moon is also what you need to feel a sense of security. Now, with this placement that he has here, 1 second. I see it's Aries, Taurus. Now, my prediction of this madness is that I feel like diabetes or something of that nature would be something that he would end up having. And I say that because of the inflammation planet of Mars, which brings inflammation or swells up. And there is Taurus there, which represents, pleasures, delicacy, things that you enjoy. And most of the time, that's sweets and sugars. So, in medical astrology, one of the diagnoses would be, said about Taurus on the 5th house, 6th house, would be there could possibly be diabetes in the bloodline. The 11th house Uranus, the 7th, not Taurus, I mean Aries. So Mars is in Taurus, and it's the ruler of the 6th house. All right, so inflammation and dealing with anything Taurus like, which is delicacy, ruled by Venus. Now his 7th house has Taurus there. He also has Mars there, which could mean that he could have been somebody who could have been very much a loving partner, but also one that rules with his fist. The 8th house with Gemini on it, like we talked about Scorpio. I told you guys that. Oh, I didn't tell you all this. So he also taught the women now, I think it said, to be open to taking in the buttocks. Allegedly. Well, Uranus in the 8th house could create all sorts of scenarios. And Gemini in the 8th house, meaning, he would have he taught very different and unique information that felt as if it conspiracies. The Gemini rules information, knowledge. Uranus rules very unconventional, different, eccentric, and unique, which aliens and can also fall in. And it's in the 8th house. It actually rules conspiracies. All right. Now, he fulfilled his purpose. How do I know? Because his North Node is in the same placement as the chart that we talked about yesterday. Or was it the day before yesterday? His North Node in Cancer and conjunct his Sun sitting in the 9th house. And I would say, because Cancer is ruled by the Moon, and his Moon is in Capricorn sitting in the 3rd house, I would say that his purpose in his lifetime was to create a family, to move them out of the country or move them in the country, but out of the universe. I mean, out of the United States of America. Okay? It's twisted like that because when the ruler of Cancer, the moon, is sitting in a sign that is not comfortable in, which is Capricorn and Scorpio, its purpose is twisted. It actually turns dark. That's right. It actually turns dark. When the ruling planet, and this is a lesson for you guys who are following astrology. When the ruling planet of the North Node is sitting in a sign that is in either detriment or fall, it's more than likely that that person's purpose would be seen as something evil. It will be twisted in a way. And we all have our own purpose. Some of them maybe contrast to another person. But according to his chart, he fulfilled his purpose. His sun is conjunct his North Node, which brings a sense of leadership, family, because it's a sign Cancer, or the North Node in the ninth house representing country, religion, philosophy, spirituality, way of life, way of understanding God. The moon sitting in Capricorn representing ancient times, the authority. So, all in all, he fulfilled his purpose. It may have been twisted because the moon is uncomfortable in Capricorn, but he fulfilled his purpose. Okay. And that ends our live for today. But I want to just send a shout out to every single person who is here. You are the MVP. If you ain't here, you know, I don't know what to say. I won't be the person I am if you weren't here. All right. But I want to give some final remarks on the Malichai York situation. The black community, the black spiritual community, is filled with these same people today. Under the guise of love and love all, but still speaking hate upon another being, a sovereign being, or a soul that uses a shell to experience being a human being. We have to be careful, be discerning. If you find that the religion or spirituality that you are applying yourself to, or that you're applying to yourself, spews hate against another race, or somebody who believes different than what that race believes, then you are truly not heading to an ascension. You are descending. We are in a time where our souls is yearning to remove the falsehood of separation. So I implore you, if you're approached about being a part of a community, if you are a part of a community and it it preaches separation, you are truly not evolving. You're truly taking yourself back. You're not moving any further. All you're doing is regressing. Because how can you reunite with Source, God, whatever you want to call it, the universe, and you got to take a different bus than the white man or the China man or the Hispanic man to that ascended place, then you are truly not ascending. All right. I want to give every single person who's here on this live with me a great round of applause. That's right. You are the true MVP. I appreciate you guys. Y'all are amazing. Okay. And for those people, who, gonna try to dissect what I say, or when it comes, you can do that because you could do your own research. I did mine. You should do your own due diligence too. And for those who feel offended about what I said, I love you, but that's all I gotta say. Okay? Because at the end of the day, sorry, yep, that's it says what you think it says. Dr. Malichai, he wrote, and he included the Bible. Okay? All right, just want you to know. I love you guys, and there's gonna be a galactic judgment coming. It came supposed to come in 2003, but you know, some happened. And we missed the plan. All right, y'all. Y'all enjoy the rest of your night. Love you guys. Y'all be safe.